Welcome to Rage Quit Wire. We are here with a battle report, and we're going to start cranking out all this content because we got people that are doing some Patreon action for us. Our sponsors, besides our Patreons, are the Final Round Game Shop. This current rankings in South Carolina, my opponent Clay Lundy, yeah, he's a pretty solid player in South Carolina. I'm of course Pete. I'm ranked number 2 in the state, trying to get that one spot. I'm taking Blacksmiths. Clay's taking Union. I'm trying out this janky Anvil Vet Cinder lineup, and yeah, first time I played it. Clay's playing traditional Union with Vet Rage, but he's adding those spicy new pieces with Season Spigot and Vet Fangtooth. While he can play with them, because once Season 4 hits here soon, they won't be able to play with them. So. And I think you're going to see why, because they're pretty fucking good. So we're going to keep track of the score down on the big D20s. Clay ended up winning the roll and decided to receive, which is a very good idea, because, yeah, you're going to see why. Some shenanigans with the ball. And I end up switching the terrain because I want to, kind of use the terrain to my benefit. I'm going to try to get cover. Except for if Mist looks like he's going to come into me. I basically just decide to basically put everybody around Anvil, that way that everybody can benefit from his get to the goal, basically, the 2-inch dodge everybody makes. I also I'm kicking off with Alloy in the center, and I'm trying to slam that ball right up against that brick building right there. That way his team has to come up and get it, and it's going to give me some juicy targets to come in with Vet Cinder and hopefully with Sledge eventually. I played Sledge a little slow on this because Sledge dies a lot, so I kind of keep him back. You're going to see me keep him in reserve just to use him as a finishing piece. And yeah, this matchup is interesting because Blacksmiths are really squishy, so I didn't know how they were going to deal with Vet Rage and the boys. So I always like kicking off with Alloy, even though Vet Cinder is new. I haven't tried that kickoff yet, so I didn't want to, totally go into this with totally new tech. So I decided to do my traditional Alloy kick. That way I threaten the ball, and it's going to give me a lot of targets to go into with Alloy. Let's make the screen bigger. Sorry guys, I just got to adjust the screen here. Alright. So Clay's basically doing his traditional, just going to put 4 on that Rage. He's going to put 2 on Mist because he's going to use Mist to kind of get the ball and not give me a great target to go into. But ends up putting like 3 on Benediction. Puts a couple on Vet Spigot, or Season Spigot, sorry. Some on the old Fangtooth. And Coin's going to obviously give some. I'm going to give 4 to Alloy just so I have that ball pressure. I think I changed it and actually put 3 on him because I wanted to give 1 to Hearth to give me some options with use this or instruction. I end up putting 2 on Anvil to give me some more movement. I put 4 on Vet Cinder just so I can get myself a charge and some swings. And Furnace I didn't give any. Furnace isn't going to do a lot this game besides some crowd outs and yeah, he also does whatever his little AoE is there that prevents me getting a lot of crowd outs. I put that down a lot in this game, and that's about it. It did help out in a few instances to prevent me from getting totally murdered. So Clay's going to activate Mist, scoops up the ball, and he's just going to kick it over here to, I think he kicks it pretty much right to, I think he puts it on Benediction if I remember right here. Yep, kicks it to Benny, which is he's great for holding the ball. I know early on in Season 3 I talked a lot of trash on Benediction, but the more I played against him, the more I just realized I was wrong. He's really good at holding the ball, especially when he puts braced and all that nonsense up. So I end up moving up Hearth, put the 2-inch reach on Alloy. That gives me a lot more options when it comes to trying to scoop the ball up. Coin ends up putting Bag of Coffers on Benediction, just jogs up. This is just a waste activation, and if you're a newer player, this is something you want to just do, is put the clock pressure back on your opponent, get a quick activation out of the way. Furnace is not in any danger down there, so there's just a quick, just no-brainer activation. Here comes the old Fangtooth of the vet variety, just running on up. And he's a solid center board piece. I mean, you're going to see him do some work here in a little bit. I'm just about to activate Anvil. I'm checking to make sure everybody can benefit from his 2-inch dodge towards the goal. So I end up hitting it, and this is going to give everybody 2 inches up, which is nice because it's going to keep all my blacksmiths kind of moving forward together, keeping nice little AoE of just toughness, and it's going to set me up well for turn 2. Yep, so everybody and their mother. And that model down there is the regular Cinder, but I'm proxying her as Vet Cinder. So just get that in your mind. Clay was trying to see if he could dodge up Fangtooth here. That way he could bloody coin himself and, you know, start doing some damage on Alloy. He is more than 4 inches away though, so that's not going to work. Good news is you can't Red Fury with Vet Fangtooth. That would be just so bad if you could Red Fury through that model. Oh yeah, so ends up kicking it to Fangtooth with Benediction, makes the pass, does a pop belly pass off of Fangtooth to Vet Spigot, makes that pass too. So this is all going really well starting off turn 1 for Clay. He's making these kicks and doing all this stupid bullshit, and I'm just sitting over here like, okay, it's great. Clay realized this is actually a good check by Clay. He had run, and if he would have stayed that far up, I was going to mess him up this turn and probably kill Benediction right off the bat, but Clay was smart and moved him back. He's like, I don't need to run all the way up, and, you know, that was fine. This is a casual game. We are on the clock, but we're both learning new pieces, so I was totally fine with Clay backing up, and it was a solid move on his part. I'd rather him make a smart move as opposed to me just steamroll him. Clay's a big Infinity player, but he's gotten pretty good at Guild Ball. He almost ended up beating Mike Rhodes at the STC Championship, and Mike is the #1 player in South Carolina and ranked very well in the U.S., so Clay's not a scrub. He's gotten a lot better over the past year, definitely playing Guild Ball. So here I'm kind of debating on who I need to go into. I have a few pieces left to activate. I think here I decide to go ahead and just do Alloy. And my goal here is to get a bunch of Dirty Knives out, just because I don't care if Benediction does anything to me, because I can just dodge back in. I ended up taking Anatomical Precision, so I'm going to negate one of his armors even though he's braced. So I end up doing 2 hits because I hit with everything. So even though he has 3 armor, I still end up doing 2 hits. I decided to dodge in, just so he's probably not going to push me out. So Clay did counterattack, used his Poised, and he actually hits pretty well here. He actually gets the double push, but instead of pushing me out, he actually pushes me further in, which I was totally okay with because I'm like, great, I'm just going to go ahead and Dirty Knives a few people and back to the shadows out. So you're going to see me do that here. So Benediction is only a 2-1 now, or sorry, 3-1 now. And I'm going to just start putting out Dirty Knives. I'm going to put a Dirty Knives onto Mist, and then I'm going to put another one onto, I think I put it on Benediction. Yep. I Dirty Knives Benediction first. Dirty Knives is really good if, I guess put on Mist first. But anyways, Dirty Knives is really good if you haven't done it before. It's -1 defense to whoever's hit. And then you also put Poison up, and it does 1 damage. So it's really good, and it's key for him to get back to the shadows, because it's momentous, it's damage, and back to the shadows positions him in a better spot. So this is my back to the shadows move. I'm just going to kind of tuck myself in cover. I did want to stay engaged because I plan on fucking up Benediction this turn. So this, you might call this a mistake because you say Rage is there and he still has a full stack. But I'm like, if Rage comes this way, I'm actually really okay with it because it's going to cut off where Rage can go because he's going to be by this building and he's not going to be able to move as freely as he wants. So, and Alloy dies. I mean, if you're a Blacksmith player, you know Alloy's just a model that dies. A lot of people think he's like, oh, he's so tough to kill, but it's like once you knock him down or once you get into him, he doesn't have hardly any hitboxes. Alright, so this bullshit. So, Seasoned Spigot kicks the ball to Rage. Rage dodges. I'm like, okay, that's great. Then he decides to have Rage kick the ball back with Seasoned Spigot's Heroic. And Clay straight up rolled it like a boss. I'm just like, alright, it's going to be like that. So he repositions Rage for a perfect charge. And this is going to suck. So I decided to bring in Vet Cinder. So she's pretty easy in her range. I did not roll very well here. These How's That dice I got from Jake Smith's tournament here in South Carolina. They weren't rolling particularly well on this charge. I think I'm gonna get 1 damage on freaking Benediction, which is fine. He takes a damage. It's gonna trigger the sweeping charge or whatever it's called. So I'm gonna actually I end up doing 3 damage to Alloy here too. So I did 3 damage to Benediction. I did 1 momentous on the charge and did a little damage to my boy Alloy there, which is fine. Yeah, I was so mad I had to use this app. I mean, the app's fine, but I rather use cards. I was borrowing our buddy Joe's Blacksmiths. So this one's a lot better. We're going to see... Well, is that a lot better? I don't think it is. I think I only ended up doing 3 damage. And this one was nice. I think I did 5 damage on this swing. 5 momentous on 5 hits or whatever it is. So Benediction's rocking pretty hard here. If I get the opportunity to go first, Benediction is going to die first activation, which is going to be totally awesome. Totally awesome. So here comes Rage. Rage is going to come up and probably kill Alloy. This is bad. So I decided to defensive stance and a counterattack here, but Clay just barely got 3 hits and got the knockdown. I knew it was a risk, but if I end up getting this and dodge 2 inches away, I don't think he'd have to spend 2 influence to dodge, and then he's not doing as much damage. So it was a risk I took, and Clay got it, so that probably means that Alloy's dead. So I think Clay ends up doing like 3 or 4 damage here. Probably 3. Oh, and he's starting to push me out of cover because he wants to get the extra dice, it's a good move. Yep, so he's going to do another solid 3 damage. I can't remember if he kills Alloy, even though I don't know if he should. He might, like, here, if I was Clay, I might have just, kind of milled me for farmed me for a bunch of momentum. So 3-1, still having trouble getting a bunch of hits. I think he does another 3 damage. Probably another push here if I remember right. Yep, there it is. Yep, so he's just sitting there doing stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. And he did kill Alloy, which is, like I said, that's fine. So he's up 2-0. That 1 is a 0. Obviously, there's no 0 on a d20, so first blood to the Union. And like I said, I play a little more aggressive than maybe some people. I'm okay sacrificing pieces for board position. I really feel like if you look at where the board is right now, I don't feel like Seasoned Spigot's in a great spot for Clay. He's kind of a little far back. I'm like, okay. I end up moving Sledge up. I think Sledge is in a really good spot there. I got my masters ready to come up to support my little guys. Kind of got Vet Cinder standing out. So what I decided to do is I play Seize the Initiative here because I'm like, even if I'm up on momentum a little bit, I think I'm up by 1. And I'm like, even though if Clay does have the 7 card and he drops it here, that'll bring Vet Cinder back to my team, so he'll have to extend into my team to come after. Seize the Initiative is probably my favorite game plan card. It's so flexible. There's no negative influence to it. It's really solid. Yeah, Clay's sitting here wasting time. There we go. So I do Seize the Initiative. I think he does whatever the +1 is. Knee something. I can't remember. But yeah, it's +1 tack to a model. I dodge Vet Cinder back. I think Clay chooses Seasoned Spigot here to dodge 4 inches up. We are doing this movement on the clock because they added that in the OPD and said that when there's effects from the cards, do that on the clock. And I think Fangtooth gets the +1 tack here, if I remember right. So Alloy comes in. I'm just bringing him in on this side. That way, whenever Clay decides to score his goal, I can kick it out to Alloy to do a snapback or hold it until I'm ready to score. So I'll load up Vet Cinder. I also decided to load up Anvil here because I really want Anvil to go in and do a bunch of work. I think I end up putting 2 on Sledge. I don't think I put any on anybody else. I think I have these 3 models and I want to do, this is what I'm going to do most of my work with this turn. So Clay starts to put his out. Of course he's going to put 4 on Vet Rage. Poison started doing its work. I was happy about that. Puts 3 on. So I think he put 4 on Vet Fangtooth. Clay and I talked midway through the game and realized Fangtooth is a 2-3. So Clay got some extra influence on him, which is fine. When you play a new model, you never get it right the first time. There's always some things that, you don't realize how they work. Kind of like ground pound. Clay and I are going to have a discussion later on how ground pound works, because, yeah, still not sure. So I decide I'm going to charge Anvil into Benediction, who is rocked pretty hard. So I end up doing my legendary with Anvil. This is a perfect legendary turn. It's going to give him +1 tack, and it's going to give everybody tough hide on my team, which is great. Anvil has knockdown on 1, so I decide to use that. Clay doesn't use his poison attack because, yeah, knockdown on 1. I also get singled out cooking here. Yeah, this is where I'm like, yeah, fuck these, how's that dice? Thanks Josh, or Jake. Thanks Greenville, fantastic. So yeah, I do this. This is where I start putting out some damage. This is also where I realized that I can do get to the goal. So on one of these rolls, I'm like, oh, I can totally trigger get to the goal from the playbook, which I didn't know, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, I decided to get to the goal. So I'm like, I'm going to do get to the goal. Everybody except for, I think, Sledge is going to be out of that. So I decided to move Cinder up. And I want to position her so Fangtooth can't just walk up and hit me. He's going to have to charge, making your opponent use maximum, Sledge was in. Making sure that my opponent uses the most dice they have to extend into my team is what you want to do. And this is great because it also moves my team within Tough Hide aura. And it's also going to start to put my models next to the Masters, who are going to give them +1 armor. So it's going to get really kind of cray-cray here in a minute. That's right, I said cray-cray. So Clay decides, who's Clay activating? Okay, so Clay tries to cheat here. So he's like, I'm going to go ahead and use Impart Wisdom, and I'm going to clear conditions through Fangtooth's character traits. And I quickly correct him and say that only works for character plays. So Clay has to put the conditions back on Benediction. which it was a pretty slick move. I mean, it wasn't bad. He's just going to have to do it after he charges here. He was trying to get a gang up on Anvil, but since he can't do that now, he wants to make sure he's basically going to try to push my boyos outside of this aura of tough hideness. Fangtooth is really good about this. I don't know if Vet Rage is the answer for this Anvil list, and those of you that saw the new Anvil and Sledge cards today drop were like, man, these guys are going to be really good. Let's see what the rest of the team's like. Fangtooth's going to be a really good answer for this team because it comes in, breaks it up. Ground Pound is not once per turn. You're going to see me kind of be like, what the fuck, later in this game. So he can just break up that scrum. Definitely good. And he puts out a good amount of damage, too. He's a solid piece. And the model's just badass. These new models Steam Forge is putting out are just... everybody except for Vet Cinder. That new Vet Cinder looks like Gollum off of Lord of the Rings. So he charges in. He didn't wrap, which was great, because that would have sucked. I think I ended up defensive stancing here. Being a 5-2 is pretty good. At least I hear. So now I'm a 4-2. So I think Clay did just some damage on that charge. I don't think he got it. He gets the knockdown here. This is knockdown ground pound he ends up triggering. I believe. Wait and see if all these knockdown tokens... No, I guess he missed it. Okay, so this is where he gets the knockdown ground pound. So the cool thing is, though, I only take 1 damage because of Tough Hide. But everybody's going to end up getting pushed here a little bit. And knockdown. At least my 2 little apprentices there. So I'm just going to come up and kill Benediction. This is not even a difficult choice for me. I'm just going to stand up Vet Cinder. I'm just going to come up and I want to make sure I can just walk up there. And I don't want to leave Fangtooth's melee. So I decide to just come up here and I'm just going to kill... This is going to be a pretty easy kill for Vet Cinder. I could probably do it in 2 swings as long as I hit the 5 damage. With Singled Out and a knockdown Benediction, this should be pretty easy. Especially once I damage him and he has 1 less armor. Oh, such a good roll. Look at all those ones. 2 hits. Like Moment is 1, but at least now you don't have 1 armor. So he's a 2-1 now, which is great. I was so mad at these dice. But I'm one of those people where I'm like, it's not, dice will come around, just leave them. It's fine. So he's a lot lower than I thought. Ended up killing him. I think I did at least 5 damage here. Grim Vengeance took effect. So I was like, yes, I'm going to come up. I'm going to be engaging Rage. And I'm going to also hit Mist. And I was like, who should I hit? So I decided to hit Mist. I'm like, if I get lucky, maybe I can kill Mist with a couple swings. Nope, miss. Nothing there. And then here, I think I do 1 or 2 damage. It's nothing significant. I'm just like, yeah, let's just kind of do some stuff, I guess. Sure. I don't know, that last one went down to Vet Rage, that's what it was. I ended up putting him on fire, on Fuego. You're about to see bullshit moment number 2, I think. So Clay decides to take a real risk here. Vet Rage is engaged by 2 models. So that means that he's going to have to kick it into a crowded out area and he's going to need 6s to make the kick. Well, guess what? Clay rolls it and he made it. So he's going to dodge Rage back. And he's like, you want to know what, Rage? Kick the ball back to me. That's going to be great. Boom, 2 6s. I was like, fuck you and your dice. And now I know why people bitch about these dice. They're so broken. Get new dice, Clay. Nah, those dice are balanced. I've seen them screw Clay over just as much as any other dice set. Spigot then takes the ball and just kind of runs off to the flank. I'm really not worried about it. If Clay wants to take that goal down the road, more power to him. I wasn't even worried about Spigot. If he's not in there helping the scrum, I'm just like, okay, this is great. Because basically the scrum right now is just Rage and Fangtooth's already activated. I mean, what's Mist gonna do? Nothing. So I move Furnace in. I'm just getting a crowd out here. It's another area for my +1 armor for my apprentices. Really strong position right there. I do one at a time, lads. That way, when Rage comes in, he won't be getting crazy amount of pluses. He'll just get his bloody coin. So I really like the way the center of the board's looking. I'm going to end up getting... Hearth's going to move up here in a little bit. I also am looking to get Alloy in there to help with some crowd outs. So it's good. And I got 3 influence sitting on Sledge. So, I mean, things are good. We're rocking and rolling. I think this scrum's about to kind of go my way here in about a turn and a half. So I ended up healing Alloy, just moving him in. There's not a real threat there. Fangtooth can't really do anything to him because he already activated. You can't Red Fury through Fangtooth, so... let's see here, what is that? The Snake? No, that was Rage. So, Rage ended up charging Vet Cinder. I ended up defensive stancing and charging here. Or, sorry, and counterattacking, I mean. So, I'm a 5-2 with Tough Hide. He does end up missing the knockdown. So I'm going to kick back into him with, I think I end up bonus timing here because I want to make sure I hit this push because I want Clay to waste the influence. That's my whole purpose here. I roll like trash again, but luckily I get 2 hits because Rage doesn't have any armor. So this is going to force, since he can't Red Fury, he could Red Fury Mist, but Mist can't really do anything. So he ends up deciding to dodge himself in. Quick timing, whatever the hell it's called. He was asking if we were engaged, and I was like, yes, because if you're an inch away and I push you an inch, that's still 2. Math. So he just decides quick time back in, which is great because anytime you can take attacks away from Rage, it's a win. So I'm still 4-2 because I'm right next to my boys. Clay's going to start pushing me away from him, try and get me out of that 1-inch bubble. I think the new Anvil makes everybody stoic, so that prevents you from kind of breaking up my scrum a little bit, which is great. He does the same thing. He ends up doing, I think, 3 damage and a push, which Tough Hide makes that only 2, which is fantastic. I'm starting to see what Dan from the pitch was kind of talking about with this Anvil team. It's definitely tough to deal with. You gotta pick it apart. You can't just throw your head against the wall and try to bash your way through this team. It's kind of like the farmer's little puzzle box you gotta solve. You really got to start moving models around and using your pushes and dodges effectively to manipulate this team. So I have Sledge left. The problem is I don't have a great target to go into, so I decided to waste an activation here and I just jog Hearth to get another crowd out on Fangtooth. I would have loved to have gone into Rage here and just tore him up, but I didn't quite have enough space between Anvil and Furnace to get through. I kind of messed up there. This is Mist. I think Clay's just trying to get some momentum for the next turn, trying to go first. He ends up getting a couple push dodges, so I think that's going to bring him up to like 5 or 6 momentum. Yep, he's just trying to get something. This is the last momentum, so he doesn't have any way to generate it after this. I'm not going to be able to get to Rage, and I know if I go into Fangtooth, there's the possibility of terrible things happening. So I decide to move Sledge up into a really safe spot next to the Snake. I'm like, you want to know what? I'm going to take tutelage. I get myself some pile driving, and I'm going to smack the Snake. So I charge. Did I charge? I might have charged. We'll see. Yes, I did charge. Okay. So I only get 4 because the snake's in cover, but I get another 4 because of the charge. So I end up doing decent here. I think I end up doing like 4 damage to the snake, which feels good. And then I'm going to buy one more tack, and I'm going to do like 1 damage to the snake. I'm also just trying to get momentum. I don't care if the snake dies. It's not like in my grand scheme of things, being tied up 2-2, going up 3-2. So we pause it. We're going to get cards here. Clearing some conditions, getting all the influence ready. This is actually big. When you start doing your when you do your plot cards, it's good to kind of take that time. Like right now I'm kind of clearing up the board a little bit, kind of getting ready to reset. This is also a good time. I know it might not be technically the right time to do it, but this is where I remind my opponent to take their condition damage. Obviously if the model dies, it doesn't die until their maintenance phase, but it's just something to help you and your opponent kind of move things along. I already know what card. I kind of know what card I'm going to play when I get them. I think here I'm going for, what was this one? I don't think it was midfield general. I think this one was, I think I was in, no, this one might have been midfield general, but not like I need it. It's just, it was the high, I didn't have a lot of great cards in my game plan. I think I had a 7, and then it was like a 4, 3, 3, and 2. It was really, besides that 7 with Seize the Initiative, I really didn't have great plays on it. So Clay comes back. I think he went to the restroom real quick, which is going to suck because I think that's going to cut off the end of our video here in about 15 minutes or so. But it is what it is. I'll fill you guys in. Don't worry. I'll let you know how it ends. That's one thing that great to have some Patreons now, because we really want to upgrade not just our editing software here, because I want to get way better editing. I really like high quality videos. I have no problem spending more time editing because I like it, but I also want to get like more lighting, get the quality, the resolution up, and just really get some better mics and really get this thing singing. So thanks again for the Patreons for just helping out and just liking the show where you help us out. It's really great, and we're going to reward you guys for doing that. I got a lot of cool prize things I want to give away in the near future, and like I said, I just started putting those dice together. As soon as I get some renders from ChessX, I will show you what they look like. So this kind of sucks. Clay ends up going first. He ended up sneaking it, and this is going to suck, because he's going to put 4 on Rage. He's got 3 or 4 on Fangtooth. I think we still haven't caught that Fangtooth capped out at 3 influence. So this is going to suck. So I end up putting 2 on Vet Cinder to kind of keep him honest. I was going to put 4, but I'm like, man, he can just smoke her, so let's go ahead and move those. Let's see here. I think I end up putting 2 or 3 on Furnace. I put 1 on Hearth. I end up filling up Anvil, and I think I put 3 on Sledge. So Clay comes in. He's going to roll pretty well against Cinder. I don't counterattack here because I know Cinder's just pretty much dead, and she only had like 8 health left. It wasn't a lot. That's kind of chump change for Rage. So he pushes her. Now I'm out of my +1 armor, and Vet Cinder is about to be sad. So yeah, Clay's rolling pretty good with those dice. Those goddamn McDonald's dice over there. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Loving it. I think this is the swing that takes out that Cinder. Clay does a great job of keeping the hits there. That way I can record them. A really good habit to get into is like leave your hits there. That way your opponent can see them. A lot of times people take the hits out and then it's like, well, was that a hit or did you just pick up random dice? So Clay still got a couple of influence on Rage, which is a problem. I think he's going to go into Furnace, which Furnace is a good master for him to go into for me, because he's not going to kill him. Furnace is pretty tough. He's got 20 boxes and he's a 3-2. So probably best case scenario here. I was actually a little worried he was going to try to force it into Sledge. I don't think he did it, though, because he didn't want to be crowded out by my two masters. So that was good for me, because it was very possible that he could have killed Sledge 2, and I would have been down. He already took 2 influence off the board. This is going to suck because he's actually going to do concussion to Furnace. So now I'm down 3 influence for the turn. And those of you that play Blacksmiths know that I haven't gotten a goal yet, so that means I'm down to 9 influence for the turn, which is fucking awful. Made me sad in the pants. He's also going to do some damage on top of this, which is fine. Like I said, I'm not worried about Furnace dying here. I think by the end of these 2 attacks, I think he ends up doing 6 damage to Furnace or something like that. 6, 8 damage. I don't remember if he put Bloody Coin up, but I'm sure he did, so it's probably 8 damage. So, I believe that was his last attack. I'm still okay with this, even though Cinder died, because if you look at my board position, I got Hearth right there, I still got Furnace, I still got Anvil, and I got Sledge that's right there about to get this thing going. So I'm kind of asking how much Mist has left, because I'm wondering if I can sneak over there and just kind of smack him. But Mist is sitting at about 8-7 hit points, and from where my models are, I don't think I can reliably get that. So I'm kind of debating what I want to do here, and I think this is where I'm just like, let's go ahead and I'm going to pounce on Fangtooth, and I'm going to see if I can get this thing rolling. So if I remember right, I think I activate Anvil here. And I think I'm going to just try to... Did I activate Anvil? Or did I pop the Glut Mass with somebody else? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, I know why this is taking so long. So, yeah, this is why I hate the app. So, I ended up... My wife called, and I got kicked out of the app, and then when I got back into it, I couldn't get back into the game, and I was just doing a single-player game. So I'm kind of cussing at the app right now, and I got to reload the characters, and it was just annoying. I would much rather have the cards, but like I said, I was borrowing Joe's Blacksmith, so which looked fantastic. I really love the way that paint job came out. Alright, so we're back online. So I did end up popping Glut Mass. Who did I pop it with? I'm going to have to look at this, see what he did. So he ends up missing here. I think I did it with Furnace just to pop it. Yeah, Anvil's still over there. This has got to be Furnace. We'll see if I put one at a time lads down. Sorry, I was kind of bitching about the app and I kind of lost track of what we're doing here. So anyways, pop Glut Mass, and we knocked him down. So, yeah. So, I end up lining up. So he ends up putting Bag of Coffers out because he wants to get extra influence too. I think he put it on Fangtooth. So I'm going to activate Sledge here, and I asked him, I'm like, how much you got on him? I think if I get lucky here, I could drop him, but I need like a perfect roll. So I'm basically looking to put as much health pressure on Fangtooth as I can. So I activate. What is he rolling now? Oh, that was the parting blow from the snake onto Sledge. So I roll with Sledge, knock down Fangtooth, extra dice. Feeling kind of good about it. I got a couple crowd outs there. He's knocked down. I think I bonus timed it too because I needed it to kind of go off. I ended up doing the big 7 damage to him. This one I don't think I get to 7. I think I got to like 4. Oh no, this one I did get to the 7 too because I wrapped to the pile drive on the first attack, which was great. This one, I obviously, the third one didn't get a pile drive, so I think I end up doing 4 or 5 damage, whatever it is on the playbook. Basically, Fangtooth has like 4 hitboxes left. So, Fangtooth ends up spending momentum to stand up. So, this is kind of where we got in a nice discussion. Clay ends up trying to do ground pound because he's trying to break up my scrum. So we were talking about, okay, do you need to hit? Because all it says is basically once you buy this, all other models are knocked down, pushed 2 inches away, take 2 damage. So I looked at the forums. I didn't see a great solution to it. I'm actually gonna message somebody to figure out the rules clarification on it. The way it reads, it doesn't sound like you need to hit because it's kind of like you just activating it. But I told Clay, just because we don't know how this should resolve, just to make it just kind of fair, you always want to take the least broken result. Is I tell Clay, well, what you would have done is you would have swung onto Hearth, and you would have basically bonus timed and hit her, and you needed 2, so there's almost no way you weren't going to hit it, and we even rolled it, and he hit it, so it worked out fine. We'll see what the forums have to say about it. If you guys see a ruling in the forums, feel free to put it in the comments here. But yeah, he ends up getting the ground pound and breaking up my scrum, pushing people 2 inches away. Anvil's legendary is gone, so I'm taking 2 damage on all my models now. It's just, yeah, doesn't feel good. I still have Fangtooth and Rage isolated from the team though, so I'm really okay with this, even though, because if you think about it, Fangtooth could be doing a crap ton of damage. Like, usually a Rage team, you kind of get used to, like, losing 2 or 3 models, like, a turn. But that's not the case in this, just because I did a good job of kind of isolating them from the guild. And Clay was talking, he thought Gutter would be a better drop into this, just to kind of help out his team. So, and I don't think that's a bad idea. Gutter's always good. I'm just going to be excited when these church models can't take Rage to church. You know, this is the one Sunday that Rage decided to go to church, and he's playing Guild Ball. So, yeah. So, we kind of get this thing resolved. We talked about it for a while. I actually looked it up, too, and we just kind of, yeah, like I said, decided that, hey, you hit one model, they're all going to be knocked down. That's great. I was kind of debating. I'm like, yeah, unexpected arrival, it's a pulse, but you still have to hit one model to trigger it. So usually when there's a negative effect to a model, you have to trigger it somehow. It doesn't just automatically happen. There's very few things in the game where it's just automatic negative ability to a player. So I think this is the same way. Like I said, could be wrong. I got to see the ruling on it, because the way it's written, it does sound like it just goes off. But like I said, usually you have to trigger it somehow. Usually it doesn't just happen. So we'll see. It's expensive. It's the 3 cost, so who knows? Maybe it's supposed to just go off. Really fucking annoying. So Clay ends up buying an attack here, and I think he triggers ground pound again. Yep. So Clay's like, I'm going to do ground pound again. I'm like, is that not once per turn? He's like, no, it's not. So he breaks up my scrum even more. This is where I'm looking at it like, yep, that's great. Thanks, Clay. Thanks for playing this stupid model. I'm having fun. Having fun. Good times. Only down 4-2. Alright, so he's pushing stuff. Like, this is great. Fantastic. But that's okay, because I have Anvil coming in. Now, the cool thing here is that since Clay spent momentum to stand up, he actually can't heal Fangtooth. So I think Fangtooth's only on 5 health, and Anvil should be able to come in and, you know, just take care of that. I think I only put 3 on Anvil this turn. I'm going to have to kill him in 3. Alright, so I end up standing up Anvil, jogging base to base. I think Clay does counter here because he's like, yeah, if you missed that knockdown, this might be bad for you. Well, maybe he didn't. But anyways, I get the knockdown. Or did I just do the single out? We'll see. Nope, took the singled out, which is probably better because I should be able to kill him in 2 swings now. So I think I ended up doing 3 damage on that swing. And on this swing, I missed some. Well, I didn't miss that much. So I ended up doing 3 damage again, so that'll knock Fangtooth out. Brings us up 4-4. So 4-4, Vet Spigot, or Seasoned Spigot, excuse me, has the ball. So that can push Clay up to 8-4. I got Rage dead to rights here. Because I think I'm up on momentum. He's only got 1. And I'm sitting on, I don't know, I think I got about 3 momentum after that because Anvil doesn't do momentous damage. So Clay going in a straight line has the goal. Staying out of hearths 2 inches, this is a smart move by Clay. It's going to put him up 8-4. And even if I score back right away, which I only have 1 influence left, and that's on hearth, even if I score right away, he'll get the ball back and probably score and win. So he knows I'm probably not going to score after him. And he ends up getting a Screamer, which is great. Because now instead of having, no influence, he has, or sorry, no momentum, he has 2 momentum. And the card he played gave him a free run the length. So he decided to engage hearth to make it more difficult for me to do things. So I'm like, I'm going to kick the ball out to Alloy, and the goalie shanks it. The crowd throws the ball back in, and it goes towards the wall. So now, instead of putting myself in a better position with Alloy, I pretty much got to use this whole jog just to get the ball and move it up a little bit. So I have Alloy left, and I have Hearth left, so I'm kind of debating on what I want to do here. So I decide to use Hearth's Legendary to engage Mist at 3 inches. So I go to the max of Spigot's melee, that way I don't get a parting blow, because my Sturdy has already been burned with the Hearth, and I get the 1 hit for the knockdown. So that's I'm trying to make sure that Mist can't effectively generate momentum this turn. I don't want Clay to get any more momentum because I want to try to win the turn. Because if I can win the turn, that means that Rage is dead next activation, because I'll probably kill him with Sledge. It depends on the turn. So he dodges Mist up. I think he's just trying to engage. He's kind of prepping for the next turn. He buys 1 attack on my 2/2 model. I'm not in cover, thank God. I wasn't planning that. Usually I do put myself in cover, but you don't want against Mist. Mist gets extra attack against models in cover. So I'm just going to jog Alloy back, get the ball, and just kind of move him on up. This is a strong position. I got my team basically stopping Clay from coming to get the ball. So I pretty much have that goal safe in my pocket. Now I just have to find 4 points before I can do it. So, yeah. I am anticipating a goal here. So I'm like, I'm going to take the goal probably this turn. I give myself, if it's not midfield general, it's +1 kick. But either way, it's only +4 to my momentum. And I think I got it. I'm like, yeah, I think I got this. +4 sounds pretty good. Clay's mulling something over. Lord knows what. So I decided to do some housekeeping. I'm going to put my influence out. Get ready for it. I'm still only on 12 influence. I haven't scored a goal yet. Which, usually if you don't score a goal turn 1 or 2 with Blacksmiths, a lot of times that ends up being a loss. So Clay and I tie right here. After roll off, I roll like a 3, and Clay rolls a 4. So Rage is going to come in, and yeah, he might kill somebody. So the good news is Rage is going to have to come in more to deal with this scrum. Rage is also engaged by models here. Clay's incorrectly putting Fangtooth on the board, and this is where I'm reminding him that he needs to correctly put Fangtooth on the board. He basically brought him in from the middle line, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't work like that, Clay. You need to not cheat. It's been a lot. Clay's been playing a lot of Infinity, so he just, when he comes back to play Guild Ball, a lot of these rules, we just got to refresh him up again. Clay's always fun to play with, just because he gets really salty a lot of times, and it's fun to play against him. It's good banter, and he's a fucking funny guy. He always threatens to, wrist lock you and, all these jujitsu moves, and I'm just like, yeah, but, don't cheat. That Cinder comes on the backboard. I end up putting 4 on Alloy here. That's just going to give me room for a goal. Even if he gets the ball with somebody, I could still go get the ball back. So that's kind of why I do it. I end up putting 3 on Sledge. Put a couple on Anvil, just get things rocking and rolling. And then I think I put 1 on Hearth just for a good knockdown. So, got it pretty well spread out here. So my goal here is I'm kind of waiting to see what Clay's going to do. If he activates, which I'm pretty sure he's doing Vet Rage right now. If he does this, I don't know if he can kill a model this turn. So wherever he goes, I'm going to then collapse on him. So literally unless Rage, runs away, I'm going to, collapse and kill him. So he is swinging on, I think he's swinging on Hearth, which Hearth was pretty much full. I think he only did a couple damage to her from the ground pound. So Hearth was feeling pretty good. Yep, so Clay's just doing his thing, putting some damage on her. 2 armor helps out a lot. Plus, I got at least 1 crowd out on him, so that helps me out a little bit. Clay also didn't charge this time. He just jogged up and started swinging on her, and that's huge. That's not something usually you want to do. But since Benediction was so far out, he didn't have anybody to help him move the pitch around. So I'm lining up a charge here. I'm like, I'm going to kill Mist this turn. So I end up taking, Mist only had like 5 health left or something like that. So I end up taking Pile Driver with Sledge, and then I charge in. Clay decides not to defensive stance here, which I thought was a little interesting. Usually you want to try to make this as difficult as possible to get successes. It wouldn't have mattered though. I got at least 1 6 in there. So I would have hit at least 2 damage. I end up getting it to the 4 damage. And I think that put Mist on 1 hit point. So I buy an attack here. I can't remember if I bonus time it or not. I did. And I do the 1 damage to take Mist out, which is great because that's going to put me at 6. So I only need 2 more points. So Rage is going to be where I'm going to try to get these 2 points from. The problem here, Clay needs 4, and he doesn't have the ball. So he has kind of a takeout sort of set up onto Hearth. I did spend 2 momentum to stand her up, so Spigot couldn't get his floored attack. So Spigot ends up doing pretty well here. I think he ends up knocking me down. So Hearth is on the ground again. I was like, oh, god damn it. So now he's going to get his extra dice for floored. This would have been a great chance for Clay to use my gang, that legendary. But he had decided to use Bloody Coin instead. If he used my gang, he would have easily had a kill and then some momentum. Clay takes her out. He's up 10-6. I'm going to do some stuff here in a minute, but the video is about to cut out just because, like I said, the camera, the memory card just didn't quite have enough room on it today. So I'll fill in you guys on what happens next, because this is actually going to resolve pretty quickly after this. I think there's only a few activations before the game-winning game-winning move. So I end up moving Anvil up, and I'm just gonna start setting up to take out Rage. I end up just setting up with singled out, knockdown, put a couple damage on him, just because I want to really set up for this takeout so I can get myself a goal. So I'm going to get some momentum off this. I'm also going to do get to the goal. I want to make sure Benediction can't really get to me. I only move Anvil though because I actually like where the rest of my team is. Just kind of beating people up in the middle of the pitch. So just kind of keep in mind where the ball is, because I'm going to go in there and generate a bunch of momentum on Rage with Alloy. And I was hoping that I would actually go first with that momentum, but Clay snuck the other 7 card in and kept it. So Clay actually ends up getting initiative on the next turn. So that was kind of a big surprise, and I thought it was going to lose me the game, but it luckily didn't. So I just move Vet Cinder up because she's going to be my piece that kills Rage early next turn. So we're just moving along. So I ended up winning this with the Blacksmiths. What ended up happening, like I said, Alloy comes in, generates momentum, the ball's there. Clay gets initiative though, which is a problem. He had Vet Fangtooth charge into one of my apprentices, tried to kill it, he whiffed. I ended up killing Vet Rage with Vet Cinder, which was great. That put me at, I killed the snake, so it ended up putting me, pretty well. So basically what ends up happening though after that is I kill Vet Rage. Once Vet Rage is dead, then I am able to take the goal, and with that, Alloy ends up kicking the game-winning goal to put me up 12-10. So it was a really great game from Clay, really thrilling. Had people in the store, it was kind of like a mini gallery, and they were rooting for Clay because, apparently people don't like it when I win. So it was a lot of fun. It was good night, and Blacksmith win. I now see how this Anvil list kind of works, and it's pretty legitimate. I see how Jared McGraw kind of got this thing rolling and ended up winning Nova with it. So definitely going to be something to talk about on the podcast and with people around the community. I still like other captains, but now that Vet Cinder is a thing, I can definitely see how Anvil is more useful. And that's why I love Guild Ball, just because one piece can really improve the game. It can really change the game in which pieces you use, because just a month ago Anvil and Sledge wouldn't even sniff the table. So really great to see. So thanks for the Patreons. We don't have a lot right now, we only got a handful of you, but thanks for subscribing and helping out the channel. We're gonna get you some cool swag here soon. You guys are the only ones that are gonna see this video and future bat reps like it. We're going to keep improving it, and this is going to be for the Patreons so they can enjoy the extra content. Like I said, if you want to see or listen to the podcast, Rage Quit Wire, that's always going to be free. Patreons are going to get it early, though, so we're actually about to record here probably tomorrow about these new pieces, and I'm going to put it on Patreon before any other source, so you'll get it probably about a day before we put it out on the real world. So thanks again, guys, and have a great one.